Why do we like Lean CX and why are we promoting it? Well, first of all, it's cheaper. Okay, you don't actually have to start with a whole bunch of extensive insight research. And I know this might sound strange to you if you're already a CX professional. No, we need to get customer insight. Well, it turns out you already have customer insight. You've got people that deal with customers every day inside your organization, and they already know something about them. You've already got a business logic to why it is you think that you can exchange value with customers. So you need to just level up that business logic to be more than just a logic. It needs to be more than just rational. You also need a business emotion. Now, because the people that work in your business, surprisingly enough, I know even the people in accounting and IT, because they're people, actually they will have a deep insight about what it's like to deal with the people who are your customers. So you can get Lean CX programs going way faster than you might otherwise do. Lean CX is not just cheaper, it's also faster. You don't need to build a journey map to get started. You just need some customers, a small group that you can start trying stuff with, and you want to pick the small group who are happy to try stuff. Sometimes we pick the small group of customers who are not happy to try stuff. Right? And look, I completely understand this. It's all about context. The last thing that I want to hear when the pilot's about to land the plane is, "Hi, I'm Captain Robert and I thought we might try something new today." I don't want to hear that at landing the plane. But at my favorite restaurant, I love it when the chef comes out and says, "Rob, I just thought I might try and produce something for you today, a little bit different. I've been thinking about something. I think you might like it." It's all about context. Finally, Lean CX is totally safer because we're not asking people what they intend to do. We're making them an offer of a better experience, and we're seeing how they respond to that for real. So years ago in Australia, the Northern Territory government wanted to authorise the mining of uranium at a place called Jabiluka, which is in the Kakadu wetlands, and these are a World Heritage listed site. It's a national park in Australia. But the Northern Territory government wanted to create the jobs, and so they wanted this $100 million project to go ahead. The federal government at the time knew that the environment was a big election issue and it could swing them getting re-elected. And so what they wanted to do is actually prevent or block the uranium mine going ahead. Now, the value of the mine was $100 million net present value. So not even back then in the 80s, a very big project. Necessarily, though, an important project for creating jobs. What the federal government did to justify not allowing the mine to go ahead on environmental grounds is that they got a research company to go and do a survey, and they just did a very simple question. Now think about this. You'll have asked a question like this similar to your customers. And the question was, how much would you pay to preserve the Kakadu wetlands for future generations to enjoy? They were trying to cost intergenerational equity. And the answer was, do you know what the answer was? It's amazing. It was $8,000 per Australian. Most people said I would pay $8,000 on average to do that. Now you multiply that by 20 million people in Australia at the time, and this is like $1.6 billion versus $100 million for the mine. And so the federal government used that as a justification for not mining Jabiluka for uranium and not putting the Kakadu wetlands at risk. Now please just set aside for the moment environmentally how you feel about this, and just think about this from an economic perspective just for a moment. I'm completely fine with this research, but here's the question that I want to ask you. How many of the people actually wrote the check for their $8,000? Because the mining company was certainly not paid $1.6 billion not to mine it. And this is the problem that you have when you're trying to do customer research. You can't ask someone what they intend to do. You can only watch what they actually do. And that's the difference with Lean CX research. This is an overview of Lean CX that you'll see. It's got lots and lots of stuff in it, and I encourage you to refer to the book, but we're going to go through each of the bits of this later in this training program so that you know how to do all of these things that are in